The Wellness Show, episode 143.
Welcome to The Wellness Show, a podcast on health and wealth. I'm your host, Tyhson Banighen, the founder of the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy. Join me as we get the latest insight, tips, and strategies from wellness providers, coaches, and successful, heart-centered entrepreneurs, and much, much more.
Good day, and thanks for joining us at Mindful Living in the Adirondack Alps. This is Kathy Homeyer, and again, I'm coming to you from the beautiful Adirondack Mountains of New York State at our lodge on Lake Clear. And today I have back again Mr. Tyhson Banighen. Hi, Tyhson.
Hi, Kathy.
We had Tyhson on a couple of weeks ago, maybe a week ago or so, and we got 15 minutes of the most awesome 15 minutes of tips that I've ever seen. So we have Tyhson back again today, and our title today is the Bioenergetics, the Food of Life. And Tyhson says we live in a sea of energy. How we choose to interact with these energies creates our bioenergetic field and the world we live in, which I think is very awesome, and a lot of people are realizing that everything is energy.
Yes, indeed. The surprising thing, and I don't know if I mentioned this on the 15 minutes we had before, but the surprising thing for most people is that they do not understand how much their energy system or their bioenergy system is compromised. And there's two ways. First of all, let's just say that a large percentage of the population, almost 75% or more, are compromised. Up to 50% or more of their energy that they generate on a daily basis goes elsewhere. So what do I mean by that? I mean, if 50% of your energy is going elsewhere, I say to my clients, how would you like to wake up in the morning and have twice as much energy that you do normally have? And for most people, obviously the answer is yes. So then the question arises, well, that's all very interesting, Tyhson, but why? Why is there such a drain on people's bioenergy systems? And the answer to that question, I'll just do a general overview and then open it up for anybody who wants to come on and ask any questions or actually find out how they're doing with their energy system and whether they'd like to receive a clearing. So there's really two different ways in which one's energy system can be compromised. I think the last time I checked, there's over 1,760 plus man-made interrupters that literally really affect our bioenergy system. Everything from, self-tones to hydroelectric, dirty energy, not being properly grounded, to chemical soup that we live in, to biowarfare, to heart, to on and on and on the list. You can imagine what that list includes. So, we're in a sea of energy, sound energy as well, sirens, screaming, traffic, trains, everything is, in that audible range is affecting us. And of course, in the inaudible range as well. For example, when you blow a dog whistle, you can't hear it, but the dog does. So there's all sorts of energies that we can't hear that are adversely affecting us as well. And what that does is it really drains our energy system. And just think about it as, on one line, say at the middle line, above that line, you're gaining energy and you are conspiring to be supported by the universal evolutionary conscious energy on the planet. So what I mean by that is when you're healthy and alive, you are in the zone, you're in the divine flow, you're gaining energy, you're healthy, you're in the right place at the right time, things happen with synchronicity, that's ending in the divine flow, and things flow. When you're at below that threshold, then you're losing energy through those man-made interrupters being one of those examples. And then now the university or planetary energy conspires to recycle you. It's a natural evolutionary process. You either are gaining energy or you're losing energy, and at a certain point in losing energy, you're on your way to being composted, which will be allowing for the next evolution of consciousness to be able to feed off of you. So we want to always work on bringing your bioenergy up across that threshold so you're gaining energy on a daily basis. Because when you're losing energy, you're compromising your system, you're putting it under stress, which then leads to duress, and then, of course, leads to disorder and disease. So the other man-made interrupters, so other than man-made interrupters, this other field is really sort of surprising, and that is that we live with many, many other energetic beings or entities, discarnate and otherwise, that are inhabiting the third dimension reality that we cohabitate with. And most of us are not aware of us. Lots of First Nations, Indigenous people understand the spirit world far better than we do. But we are adversely affected by these energies that actually can get into our bodies, can inhabit the same space that we're in, and can drain our energy. So this is, this incarnate being, spirit, things that go bump in the night. It could be vortex energies that are negative. It could be trauma locked into the land. All sorts of different areas of interest come into that whole sea of waves in which the energy can be drained from your body. So those are the two main things. One, man-made interrupters as energy drainers of your bioenergy system, and also the intrusion by other entities and other energies, both from this planet and off planet. So as strange as that is, that's the whole world that most of us never talk about. So that's a bit of an overview of what I mean by, bioenergetics, the food of life.
Mm-hmm. So,
another way of
go
ahead.
Okay, I was just going to ask one quick question. With the man-made interrupters, would you say most of them are fairly recent in our world?
Yeah, I think so. Although I'm sure there's things like living close to uranium when if you're an Indigenous person, you didn't know what uranium was. And there was uranium on the ground, or oil or gas, got into your water system. So, some of those are natural phenomena that were on the planet before we started, technologically altering the landscape to extract the resources. So I think there's always been those, that humans have maybe not known about, but were adversely affecting us. Like, modern science has made us aware of pathogens in our water, which we didn't know about before, right? So E. coli and all those things that we didn't know about, they would be adversely affecting us as well. But yes, you're absolutely right that most of this is modern technology and not enough scientific work that's been done about the actual effect, for example, of cell phones. There's lots of research been done that the range that we are using to broadcast and receive cell phone transmission is not healthy for humans. There's a whole body of research. And, of course, that's highly political, and there's a lot of money involved in that. So there are safer ways to do it. There's other sort of hertz ranges that we can use that are less intrusive into the body. So, for those that are using cell phones, one of the most important things is do not keep it in your pocket. Do not tuck it in your bra. Do not keep it in the same hip pocket. Keep it as far away from you as possible. Don't use Wi-Fi to connect to your headphones. Try and keep it as far away from your body. Do not have it beside you when you sleep. And I know for most people, they don't even understand this as a problem, but really, that's radiation that really can lead to all sorts of disease and disorder and cause all sorts of problems, especially if your body's already bioenergy field is already compromised. So, or if you're young and your field is still in the stage of developing, that's when it's highly susceptible as well. So Wi-Fi is another one, and some kids, just can't even tolerate Wi-Fi, and lots of people can't either. So if you're having, recurring headaches, you're feeling not up to snuff, you're feeling something is wrong, it might be good to bring in somebody who can test this radiation levels in your home for Wi-Fi and to see whether you're living in this soup and whether this soup of energy is adversely affecting you.
Okay, yeah, thank you for that.
So there's all sorts of different things. Yeah, go ahead.
Yep, no, I was just going to say you were going to continue. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, I was just thinking, there's different things that you can do that can help. you manage this. One is, if you're a DAOs or if you know how to do muscle testing, you can always check your bioenergy field on a scale of 0 to 100. 100 being that you're managing your system and you're not stressed out, and that whatever the sea of energy you're in, you can manage it, or your energy level is higher than the adverse effects. So what do I mean by that? I mean the dominant energy always wins, good, bad, or ugly. And I don't mean that through mind control. I just mean that energy, the dominant energy entrains the other energies to match it. Sort of like, you know, if you have a clock, a series of clocks in a store, that sooner or later over a period of time, they're all going to be in harmony. Or all the women living in a dormitory going to university are going to have their periods at the same time. It's part of the bioenergetics of life that we start to entrain to each other. So those are some of the effects that would happen with a dominant energy, say, being negative. If you're not aware of it, you can entrain to it. So one of the ways in which to contravene that is learning how to earth. Earthing is how to ground, how to take negative charges or non-beneficial energies out of your body by literally grounding them. You know, some of the ways that you can do that is, you know, bare feet on the ground, on the grass, you know, walk on hot rocks, you know, put your feet in the sand, lie in the grass. All of those sorts of things help you take the energy, the tension out of your body and give it back through grounding it to Mother Earth or to, you know, the negative polarity of the Earth that grounds that energy, stray energy. Another way to be aware of this, if you're not sleeping well, is to turn off the breakers in your bedroom, so you're not living in a sea of electrical energy, and your body can relax, and you will sleep deeper, and then your body will be able to recharge. So that's another way in which to do that. You could also look at, is there geopathic stress that's running through your house? You know, is there geopathic stress where you're sitting at your chair in your home office, or is it running through the center of your bed? That can adversely affect you too, and you can always have a dowser check that, or you can check yourself if you know how to muscle test or dowse yourself, and just ask that question. You know, are there energy lines running through my bed or through my bedroom that are adversely affecting me, yes or no? And then there's certain things that you can do to change that as well. So is this making sense?
Yes, it's making very much so. Yes, thank you.
So do you have some questions?
Well, you were so we've been talking about the man-made interrupters. Can you tell us a little bit more about the spirit world that, you know, affects our field, both positive and negative, right?
Yeah. Well, then, you know, the spirit world is really interesting area to work in because well, there is a body of information that's been done and researched around that, and you know, some psychoanalysts that have also been, you know, scientists have been able to work with those that are psychic and can actually see disincarnate beings. So they've done actual work on being able to, you know, run experiments and scientifically to be able to demonstrate that, yes, this whole area that most of us know nothing about actually does exist. So interesting way to look at it is that, you know, if you were a ghost or you had died recently, did not go to the light, and you felt that you had unfinished business that you wanted to accomplish on the earth plane, karmically you felt that you needed to finish off something, and so therefore you were hanging around and didn't even know you were dead, then you might be quite upset with other people moving into the house that was your family house that you had inhabited and inherited, say, for 3 generations. So now you have these new people moving into your house. You don't know you're dead. You're moving through the house. You think it's completely normal what you're doing. You're moving objects around and you're carrying on your normal life, which is not normal because you're on another dimension. The people that are in the house think the house is haunted, because there's all this strange phenomena happening, things going bump in the night, things being moved around, things appearing and disappearing. So for them, you're a bother. You're bothering. The ghost is interfering. You're in your life, and you call it a haunted house. And from the ghost perspective, you're in their space, in their energy, and they don't understand why you're messing with them. So it's sort of interesting. It's almost like having a dialogue between the two different dimensions. It's telling the ghostly being that, hey, did you know that you're not alive, and that it's time to go on to the other dimension so you can continue with your soul growth, and that yes, you are disturbing these other people, et cetera, and explaining that. So that's an interesting case of just not interspecies, but interdimensional communication that needs to occur between the living and the dead, or those that don't know they're dead, right?
Mm-hmm,
that's an
right.
example of that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
yeah, it can get really wild and woolly and interesting, right?
Yeah,
the other
and
phenomena can...
Go ahead. Nope, I was just going to keep you going. Go ahead. It's perfect.
Yeah, it was another case where I was working with a client, and things were going bump in the night, and it was really quite scary stuff. And so we were able to actually communicate with this being, and the amount of knowledge that this being had was really incredible. And for a while, I thought it was a guardian angel. But then the clue came that there was really a vengeance in the knowledge that she was giving. Like, she knew so much about what's going on and who was doing what and why this person was under, attack and voodoo and all the rest of this. But then I realized that this being was coming from a need to want to do reprisal. And then I asked, why? Who are you? Did you die on this property? And she said, yes. And I said, well, what's your intention? Well, my intention is to rectify the situation. I don't want this person to go through the same thing I did, because I was murdered here. So I said, well, we really appreciate, the energy and the knowledge that you've given us, but, we really need to move on, and you need to move on for your own soul growth, and thank you for informing us, and now we're better aware, but I think it's time for you to go to the light. And the answer was, no, well, I don't want to go. And the conversation went on until the point where she understood that it was for her own benefit to go to the light, where she continued her soul growth, and to free up the individual that she was educating, including myself, so we could do the work that we were called to do here. So again, this is like a joint agreement between the two dimensional realms to carry on the work that she felt needed to be done, and the warning she wanted to give us on this dimension before she was willing to pass on to the next dimension. Again, that's with interdimensional communication.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's interesting that a lot of folks, either think it's what they've done, what did I do to make myself sick, or, what can I do to make myself well? And there's also this portion of there are other energies in your field or other energies in your home that people need to look at. So, lots of different ways to look at it, of course.
Yeah, I think that one of the difficulties, though, when it comes to personal health and bioenergy fields and entities being, and cohabiting your energy space, either in your aura or literally inside of your body, is that usually it means that you're ready to graduate. And what do I mean by that? It usually is a spiritual test. In the old days, if you were part of the mystery school, you would learn a body of information, spiritual knowledge, and then you go through a test to see if you graduated. And, you would never really have the test until you're ready to actually be able to overcome your fear and graduate. Well, that's the same thing with entities. They're actually, on one level, on the soul level, you've asked them to come in to your life in order for you to be challenged to raise your energy and take back your personal power, so that you can be more effective in your life lessons and the reason why you incarnated in your soul's journey. So helping people understand that there's no such thing as being a victim, right? That, it's not somebody doing something to you. Yeah, it feels like that, and it's horrendous. I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying it isn't scary, and I'm not saying don't do anything about it, and I'm not saying that, it's all your fault. I'm just saying that there's another way to look at it, and that is, well, if I can understand why this entity has showed up in my life, and I can take back that personal power that it's, forcing me to do, and I stand in my truth and claim it and clean it up, then I don't ever have to deal with that type of entity again or any other entity on that vibrational level, because I've raised my own bioenergy level so that no further intrusion from that dimensional reality is possible. Because yes, yet again, the dominant energy always wins, right? And you become the dominant energy, and you take back your energy field, and now you're fully in control of all the interdimensional levels that make up who you are.
So it's all about taking back your power and raising your energy enough so the lower types of vibrations are just non-existent for you, right?
Exactly. It's like a radio station. You just turn the dial. In this case, you're actually turning the dial up. You're raising your frequency such that anything on the lower frequencies no longer is cohabitating that frequency with you, because we live in these layers of frequency. So, for example, at one level, if you're raising your consciousness, you can be having interspecies communication. You could be communicating with the dolphins or the whales. And the question is, well, how can you do that? Well, because you're on the same frequency bandwidth that the whales and the dolphins are on. So, it's frequencies all the way up and frequencies all the way down. And the lower ones are negative in that they adversely affect you. And the positive ones are really, really exciting because it gets into interspecies, extraterrestrial, interplanetary communication, and opens up a whole new world of a whole new reality beyond what we think this world is all about. The third dimension. You start to be able to tap into the fourth, fifth, sixth, and up, right, all the way up to the Godhead. So yeah, it's really an evolution in consciousness, and really planetary evolution that we're in the midst of experiencing. And of course, what that means is as the planetary energy rises, then all of the energies that have been trapped through voodoo and, war, suppression, all the negative forces that have suppressed other beings, atrocities and all the rest have been trapped in the earth, in the water, or in the geopathic stress and the energy. And as the energy rises on the planet, these energies are now being freed from their enslavement or entrapment, and they're looking for a way back to the light, or they're looking for some way in which they can exist or figure out who they are. So if they match a human, person in trauma that was similar to the trauma they had, they're attracted to it as like attracts light, and then they're into your energy field, and then you have a problem. So we're going to have more and more of this as the energy increases, as we become more planetary aware, as we, in this turn of the ages that we're in the midst of, we're going to have more and more of this happening.
So yeah, key is awareness and just looking at the other possibilities that are affecting us. Now, Tyson, we have about 7 minutes left. There's a few folks on the call. Would you like to do group healing, or would you like to take some questions?
Sure, I will do. Why don't I do a quick group healing for everybody? I'm just going to tap into the overall field, and the overall field of everybody listening on this call now and in the future is about 50%, which is relatively normal. So I'm just going to clear everybody's energy field. So everybody on the call, everybody listening to the call, when you listen to this, and you can listen to it more than once, we'll clear your field. So here goes. I'm using a pendulum, and I'm rotating it counterclockwise. And this is a short form. There's a long form that you can find on my Facebook page, which is Dowsing and Energy Healing. It's a closed Facebook group. You can ask to join. So here goes. I translate, transmute, transfigure, heal, and repair all non-beneficial energies in and around and through all the people on this call or listening to this call that are adversely affecting their bioenergy field. I undertake this clearing to the multidimensional levels of their being and through all time, space, and dimensions, both known or unknown. And I call on their spirit guides and spirit doctors and their guardian angels to assist in this undertaking and to take this clearing through 24/7, 365 until everybody's free and clear of any intrusions now, in the past, or in the future. And we'll undertake also a clearing of their matriarchal and patriarchal lineage going back 7 generations and forward 9 generations. So the grandchildren's grandchildren will be clear as well. And I declare it so be it. It is done. Thank you. And I just feel like the pendulum come to rest. I've stopped spinning the pendulum, and the vortex that is created as the pendulum slows down gives me an indication of whether the action is complete or not. So we're just about to be completed now. So I'm just going to tap into the energy system of everybody. So right now there was a shift here. Everybody's at 100%. If you can remember what this feels like, if you can say touch your heart with your hand and just say, every time I touch my heart, I remember this coherent field that I've just experienced. That will be your touch point, and you can use it through the day when you feel stressed or duressed. You can just put your hand on their heart and say clear, and that will bring you back to this moment. So yeah, I'm ready and willing and able to take calls if anybody would like to ask me any questions or receive a personal clearing.
Okay. Yeah, I can. I've got some few callers here, so I'll take them as they came in and see if they have a question for you. Mike, what my one question is, Tyson, is do you clear yourself every day, or how often do you gauge how often you really need to clear yourself?
That's a great question. I have multiple ways of clearing, and I do it every single day, yes, and more than once. Okay. And because I'm always being asked on my website to help clear other people, I teach people to help each other clear as well. So it's like a network of, or like Reiki healing. We're creating an energy field that you can tap into on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm. And while we're talking about that, Tyson, why don't you give us your contact information, and then we'll just do questions until time is up.
Okay, so my contact information is my toll-free number in North America is 1-866-369-7464 or 1-866-1000. So you can get me there. My major Facebook page with regard to this is Dowsing and Energy Healing, and you can join that, and there's a lot of discussion going on there. My major page is Tyhson Banighen, and my name is spelled Tyhson. Last name is Banighen, BANIGHEN.ca. And all my courses online are at the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy, and you can find the link for that on the Tyhson Banighen website. And also there's a free dowsing book that you can download as well. So that's how you can get hold of me.
Okay, very good. Okay, so I'll take a caller from the 805 area code. I have an 805 area code. Are you on the line?
Yeah, is that me?
Yes, that is.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well,
how can I help you?
Well, I think I have a yeast invasion in my body, and I would like it to be gone. Do you have any insight into that?
Well, let me just ask that question. Do you have a yeast infection? And yes, so I commend you for that intuitive ability, and it's adversely affecting your bioenergy field by 25%. So by clearing that, you'll have a quarter more energy than 25% more energy than you do normally. So that'd be worth doing. So here, I'll do this right now, and the wording for this is on the Dowsing and Energy Facebook page. It's in the files. You can download it in just this short clearing to put anything you want to clear into the packets, right? So I'll do it for you. It's the same as what I just did. So it's, I translate, transmute, transfigure, heal, and repair all non-beneficial energy in and around and through my being related to, and in your case it's yeast, and I undertake this action through the multidimensional levels of my being and throughout all time, space, and dimensions, both known or unknown. And I ask for the assistance of my light team or my spirit doctors or guardian angels to assist me in this undertaking. And I declare it so be it. It is done. And that's the clearing. So the important thing is to know is that when you make a declaration like that and using a pendulum or even spinning your finger counterclockwise, you are literally creating the vortex to clear up your energy field.
Thank you.
I encourage you to do that. If you do that for 21 days straight, you'll be free and clear.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're most welcome.
Okay, so we're just about running out of time. We wish we always had more, but you can contact Tyhson on his, the contacts that he gave, and he does a variety of things, including teaching dowsing. And we've got about 30 seconds left, so I'll let you say any other words of wisdom, Tyhson.
Well, thank you for inviting me on this call, and maintaining your bioenergy field is really, really important. And if you'd like to learn how to do this for yourself, your loved ones, your family, and your clients, please get hold of me. I have an online certification course as well, and I can help you do this to get you from where you are to where you want to be in the shortest amount of time possible.
I'm so happy to have you here. Once I got learning about energetics, I've seen your work, and you seem to be quite passionate about what you do.
Yes, I am a bit passionate about what I do. I guess I'm called the energy detective.
Yeah, I thought so. Energy detective. Let me. So you do quite a number of things. So I'll just read a really short version of what you do. You're a certified spiritual coach, an intuitive, a Reiki master, heart resonance advanced practitioner, called the energy detective, a master dowser and teacher, diviner, geomancer, and you provide wellness assessments, exorcism of possession, and karmic releases, to name a few.
Yes, and it's like almost I'm an energy junkie, I guess. I'm always interested in what's the latest and greatest to help release people and the awesomeness of who they are.
Right, and we were talking briefly the other day. You were talking everything that you have to offer, and for the folks who are in my program, and certainly anybody who listens to this beyond, I'm just going to let you go ahead and tell about who you are and things that you have to offer in your different programs.
Yes, I mean, I love the fact that you're going to be teaching people about nutrition and food and how to deal with energy and energetics from that point of view. I get at it slightly different, although I must say food is a very key aspect for me, and not only in my own lifestyle but in working with clients. So good, healthy food, good, clean water that's alkaline. Alkaline foods. I'm a vegetarian. I do dairy, but very little of it. I don't drink alcohol. And so keeping the body temple healthy and pure and clean, does allow us to generate a great deal of energy to get us through the day, and makes us nutritionally wise, makes us conscious eaters, makes us more sensitive of how we ingest our food and how we, pay reverence to it. So all of that's really important. Energetics, I get it, is a little bit more holistic, but food is definitely a part of that. So when people work with me, the first thing that I do is do an energy assessment on a scale of 0 to 100. And the shocking thing about that is when I do that is most people are at 50% or less. So what do I mean by that? It means that no matter what they eat, no matter what good quality water they drink, no matter how much exercise they do, 50% of their daily energy that they generate is going elsewhere. So it's like having a leaky sieve or a leaky aura. So my job is to help people take back their personal power and to be able to stand in their truth and learn how to manage their energy system, their whole energetics on all the chakra levels, so that they can be in control of it. And so what causes that energy drain? Well, like we say, it can be food, it can be diet, it can be junk food, it can be a whole sort of number of things. But one of the biggest things that I work on is intrusions into people's energy fields. And there's two aspects of that. One of them is man-made interrupters. I think the last time I checked, there's something like 1,700 man-made interrupters into the human energy field, and I'm sure that's climbing. So that's, Wi-Fi, cell phones, mind control, electronics, dirty energy, heart, on and on and on and on. It's just we live in a sea of energy, most of which is not beneficial for us. And for some reason, we don't seem to have studied a lot in that area about the effects of sound on our system. And of course, sounds that we hear are only a small part of that spectrum. There's many, many subconscious sounds that we don't hear in the ear but really affect us. Like, when we use the dog whistle, we don't hear it, but the dog does. So our range of hearing is far more than just what we physically hear with our ear. It goes to much, much more subtle energies. So all of that is sort of gunk or energy affects our bioenergy field adversely. So that's one form of intrusion. The other is disincarnate beings, men, humans interfering with other humans through, anything from voodoo to black magic to all sorts of yucky stuff that people tend to do to each other, which is really traumatizing the person psychologically or energetically using mind and mind control. And while this is not very nice things to talk about, it's part of who we are at this time, and something that when we're aware of, we can start to deal with. So what I like to do is help take the person from where they are to where they want to be and take back their personal power so then they can be energetically standing in the truth of who they are. So, if you think about it, most people, it's 50%, some are 75% of their energy is going elsewhere. I say to them, at 50%, how would you like to wake up and have twice as much energy? Or how would you like to wake up and have 3 times as much energy? So that's a bit of an overview of energetics from that point of view.
Yeah, very helpful. I mean, I know I met you with because I had come across an issue that was an intrusion, and I was actually led to a planetary type of issue. So that was really interesting to me. And nutrition we do nutritional energetics, but you're right, I teach the whole multidimensional part of it. It's not just the 3D foods or the clean foods, but all the way up through the energetics to sound, which is one of the higher and more helpful dimensions, I think. And a lot of people, there's a lot of people doing MP3s and listening to healing tones and all that sort of thing. You do all sorts of different things with sound, and also with the program is what you do is teach dowsing. And I think a lot of people know what muscle testing is or dowsing, and a lot of people might toy around with it, and a lot of people don't. So if you could just mention a little bit about what you do with dowsing and how you teach that.
Yeah, so when I say that your energy field is 50% or less or more, what I'm doing is I'm tuning into your energy field and using a pendulum on a scale of 0 to 100 and dowsing out the energetics of your system. So when it comes to food allergies, or for anything for that matter, being able to douse accurately, what is the effect of this positive and negative on the human energy system is very, very valuable. So basically, like a dowsing instrument, which can be a rod, which is just a piece of wire. It can even be a coat hanger bent at 90-degree angle, or a pendulum, which is basically a weight on the end of a string, or a bobber, which is a coiled piece of wire with a weight on the end that bobs up and down. All of these are like antennas, on a bug. Like a bug has an antenna to pick up a certain energy of the crop that it feeds on to see whether that, particular energy of the plant is below the positive range, is in the negative, and then it's attracted through that disease or disorder to start munching on the plant. Well, the dowsing tools are just like antenna. They're extensions of our bioenergy field to make us more hypersensitive of energy around us, the sea of energy, so we can interpret it more accurately. So I call dowsing really just training wills for intuition on demand. So once you do dowsing or muscle testing for a period of time, then you really can do this without using the tools and get the answers that are accurately, and then you start getting words, impression, visions, from the 5 clairs, clairaudient, clairsentient, and all the rest of that. and then you're on your way. So dowsing is a great beginning way to get in touch with your intuition. And of course, there is some caveats around that, and that is, the answer you get is only as good as the question that you ask. And then the second caveat is that, do you have permission to do this? And then the third one is, are you sure that the answer is coming from your higher self connected to source, rather than being, coming from your ego? So that's the dowsing part of it. And dowsing also has to do with energetics, like numerically, like numbers. So, for example, to bless food, which would be very valuable for your people in the course, if you say 995 is a blessing on your food, it has enough energy to not only bless your food on your plate, but if you're in a restaurant, everybody in the restaurant and the cook in the back. So the energy field of that is gigantic. So there's a hot tip for you, 995. So 995. If you move into the areas, it's Trinity times Trinity times Trinity cubed times 5, which is the number of humanity. And there's something about that. You can douse that out with an arrow. The field is just gigantic. So it's a really good thing to bless your food. It blesses everybody who's growing the food. It's just, a way of being sensitive to the energy that ends up on your dinner plate. So when we move into energy from sound, I work with quantum sound therapy. Basically what it is scalar wave technology. In the readings that I do, when you come on, we do a session. I guide you through a meditation, ask you the question, if you could wave a magic wand, what would you like? And then I record your voice. And there's more information in your voice than in your fingerprint. And so from that, I can then do a printout of what's happening in your chakras from a physical, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, and future potentiality. So it gives you a good baseline. And then from there, a soundtrack of about 23 minutes is produced. You listen to that soundtrack once a day or whenever you feel stressed or out of sorts. And because the dominant energy always wins, that higher vibration in your sound file removes the lower vibrational frequencies. And so the beauty of that, I call it the no fuss, no muss, no analytic couch technique, because you don't have to know what those lower energies are. They just, as your energy overall is raised, by doing that, the lower energy field drops out. So it also at the same time charges scalar water. An 8-ounce bottle of water is charged with your personal energy. It makes up 4 American gallons, and then you drink 4 or 5 glasses of the charged water with your intention. It flushes the cells, it hydrates them, and it puts the intention in at the cellular level. So now you have the sound from the outside in, and you have the water from the inside out. And so then you climb the ladder of consciousness, letting go.
So within the time we have left, let us know how to get in touch with you, what your website is, so people can take a look at more before the session itself, and we'll let people know when our radio show is going to happen live again, so that you can come back and talk to people live.
All right, great. So the best place to find me is Tyhson, it's TYHSON BANIGHEN.ca, and then that has all the links to my online academy, the sound work I do, all the different things, my radio show, the wellness show. There's links everywhere, so that will provide you sort of the hub of what I'm involved in.
Okay, you gave, just in those few minutes, you gave such awesome tips. Just from certainly your experience and your knowledge, that has been awesome, and I certainly appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your day. Okay, well, thank you very much, Tyhson.
All right, bye for now.
For quality online wellness products, courses, and services, visit our sponsors, thewellnessstore.ca and the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy located at thewellnessacademy.ca. To stay in touch, visit us at thewellnessshow.ca. And until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise.